Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you an easy way to bulk cook ground meat. I'm Rebecca from stockingmypantry.com. So the deal is if you do any freezer cooking or making a huge pot of chili or that type of thing, you'll need to cook up a lot of, let's say, ground beef ahead of time. And what I've done in the past is I stand over a hot stove and I have to do it in several batches because I don't have a big enough pan and so on. So I discovered this easier way of doing it, and that's what I'm going to share with you today. Now today I'm only cooking 3 pounds of ground Italian turkey sausage. And so I'm using just my smaller pan. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off just by scrunching up the ground meat. Now, if you don't have one of these chopper things, you can just use your hands to grind it up or to break it up. But you'll see in a second part of this step that this type of thing really comes in handy. Okay, so you can see the meat is all kind of broken up. I actually think doing ground beef is easier. The ground turkey is so fine, it kind of glops together. But you'll see as the process unfolds that it's not that big of a deal. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it in a 425 degree oven, and I'm going to check it in about 10 minutes. Okay, so the meat has been cooking for about 10 minutes, and you can see it's partly done. But what I'm going to do now is use this chopping tool and chop the meat into finer bits. This is where one of the chopping tools really comes in handy. So whereas you can break down the meat initially when you're putting it on the tray, you got to figure it's hot at this point. And so you're going to want one of these chopping tools to make the job easier and to keep from burning your fingers. Okay, now there's still some pink spots and some fairly big chunks. Let me break up all of them. And I'm going to put it back in the oven for another 10 minutes, and my guess is that it'll be done at that point. Okay, so this is what the meat looks like after 20 minutes in the oven, and yours may take longer just depending on how much meat you're doing at one time. But I'm going to go ahead and use my little meat chopper and break up the bits more. And it gives me a chance to check and see if there's any pink in there. Now, if there was a little bit, it wouldn't be a big deal because this is still going to be cooked a little bit more in a skillet meal. But for the most part, you want it to be broken up well and cooked through. So you can see how easy it is to break that up, and my hands-on time has only been the time that's spent breaking it up, not being over the stove, you know. And the nice thing about this is while it's in the oven, you can work on other aspects of preparing the meal, whether that be chopping up onions or, you know, getting out your other ingredients and stuff, whereas that's a little bit harder to do when you are standing over a stove and having to pay attention. So I did these 3 pounds of the ground turkey sausage on this small pan that fits in my my countertop oven. If I was doing a larger amount, I would use a larger baking sheet. I think I could do about 5 pounds on a larger baking sheet. And if I was wanting to do some bulk, like freezer cooking, where I'm using 10 pounds of ground meat, I would just use 2 of the large baking sheets, 5 pounds on each sheet, and go through this process. And so that's way easier than standing over a stove and cooking the meat. So I hope that you found that helpful, and stay tuned for videos where I use ground meat that I have cooked in this way in freezer meals. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I'd really appreciate it if you would like the video, and if you would also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already done so. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great day.